A very important announcement and disclaimer, if you will, at the beginning. Those of you who are here just to find a job, and you're going to hear me talk a lot about jobs on this call, you would be well advised to remain until the end of the call, because if you're looking for a job, I'm going to show you why this is much better than a job. Remember that compared to jobs you've had in your life, this one could be considered a dream. Here you get to set your own hours, dial as few or as many numbers as you wish, calling actual leads from the comfort of home, and every sale is worth a potential $1,200 per year at the rate of $100 a month, directly paid to you daily and billed from your own merchant account. It's like a dream. But you know, I had 20 jobs when I was a young adult in which I had to make some kind of a small investment in myself to get started. An insurance or real estate license, which was all on me, and those were expensive when I was a kid. A sales kit in the home improvement business that had demonstration materials in it that I had to use, which I could return at the end of my employment. A processing fee to get my paperwork in order and put me in the system. Here, what drives our engine is the measly sum of $100. Along with that comes an opportunity for financial security in a few short months. And hopefully you will see why this makes much more sense than slaving to make other people rich. So a healthy dose of skepticism as you listen, combined with an open mind, goes a long way on this call as well as in your life. Now, if you haven't already, you can see my profile on LinkedIn just by typing my name at Google. I say that so you can see that I'm a real person, that I'm being straightforward. For the last 2 years, I've represented an employment consulting firm out of Rhode Island that works with high-paid senior-level executives to help them find new employment. Previous to that, I worked for 20 years in the insurance industry, specializing in annuity sales, and I've had a 35-plus year sales career. Now, this last position I told you about with the employment consulting firm, it's that one that I've had that gave me a look into the true state of financial affairs in America, and the only word that comes to mind is terrifying. Why do I say that? Because over the last 15 years, I transitioned from working with senior retirees from the previous generation, people who had the security of long-term stable employment, substantial savings plans, and most importantly, pensions, to now working with people who typically make $200,000 a year and have been at that level for 5 years or more. Now, what's the difference between the two groups? It's pretty easy to summarize. The first group had a measure of financial security, while the newer group, more often than not, is broke. Now, I wish I were kidding, so imagine that you made $1 million over the last 5 years. It's like a dream, right? And you would think this $1 million would make you completely secure. But no, because you, like these people, would probably do what we as Americans have learned to do well. We spend everything we make. So these $200,000 earners have the fast cars, the big houses, but the big houses come with the huge mortgages. Their kids are in the best schools and all appears hunky-dory. But then they lose their jobs and all hell immediately breaks loose. Why? It's so simple to answer that. First, they have no savings. And second, they have no ongoing source of income. So when I ask them to invest $10,000 in a comprehensive program to help them seek a new job that's worthy of their talents, they're in shock. $10,000, they say? That's completely beyond my budget. So imagine, again, $1 million in 5 years, and they can't scrape together $10,000. So you're asking right now, what is the point of this story? Well, here it is. America's broke. The vast majority of Americans have no financial security whatsoever, and as soon as the paychecks stop, there is immediate trouble. But what's everyone's solution? Well, just find another job, which some of you know is an acronym for just over broke. Until that job runs its course because the company downsizes or has financial problems. Then it's another period of panic until we find the next job to be just over broke. For me, I made a recent decision, which is that there's only one solution to this crisis for myself, just like there's only one solution for all of you. And that is, and we're going to repeat this a lot, an ongoing, repeating, residual income. Now, what does that mean? It means that part of your future financial plan, which you needed to put in place like yesterday, is to get paid over and over again for something that you do on time. Just like the electric company, the gas company, the cable company, they sell you their service one time, and then you pay them over and over and over and over again. You need to create this in your life. Otherwise, I can pretty much promise you, you will always be just over broke. And there are very, very few jobs out there, or JOBs I should say, that offer this feature. Most sales jobs, let's face it, you're an underpaid and underappreciated cog in the wheel. And after every sale, as I like to say, you're unemployed until the next sale comes along. Now, I've spent years and years and years looking for a solution to this never-ending cycle. And the bottom line is I think I've found it. In fact, I know I've found it. And why do I believe that? Well, here are just some of the reasons. First of all, the parent company, which is called Multiplex Systems, has been in business for over 13 years and has an A+ Better Business Bureau rating with literally no complaints. Infinity 100 has operated for 6 years and continues to flourish, and since there are practically no large expenses for the back office system and the company has no debt, it's difficult to imagine any future problems. Although I believe the product is secondary to the opportunity we are marketing, that product is very worthy and ethical and substantial. It's substantial financial education to help people grow their money once they have some to grow. But as with my McDonald's analogy that you should be familiar with by now if you listen to my 12-minute overview call, people don't buy McDonald's franchises because they love to drown in burgers and fries. They buy them because McDonald's has created a duplicatable system to make money. Now, here's a better, simple way to understand it. If the standard for being the most successful food franchise on earth, bar none, was to have the absolute best food, it wouldn't be McDonald's, would it? See, it's not about the food. It's about the duplicatable system to make money. So Infinity 100 also has a duplicatable system to make money. And one can make just as much or more than a McDonald's franchisee who puts out $750,000 for one of those puppies, with a lot less worry and headaches. So if you come on board, your primary function is to be an information provider. You simply share information with people, as I'm doing with you right now, and you let them make their own decision. No hard selling, no closing. Just disseminate the information, and those who get it will get on board. Because they want what you're here for. They want that same ongoing, repeating, residual income. So just to cover the company and the product for a couple of moments to reassure everyone, Peter Wolfing is the sole owner of Multiplex Systems. He has put together companies and programs and products and ideas and concepts for all of us that are just brilliant. And Peter is a great guy who is literally here to help all of us succeed. That's what helps him to succeed, of course. Now, Peter has also expanded the company more recently, and those of you who get on board will learn about this very quickly. It's called the National Wealth Center, in which he has taken the product mix and he has expanded it dramatically. And in our case, Infinity 100 is now going to be called in the future Wealth Advantage. And there are unbelievable numbers of recorded webinars about financial success. There are unbelievable tools you can download and tips and all kinds of tricks to improve your finances and make your financial life better. This information is information that people pay a lot of money for. In our case, it's being provided for a simple subscription at $100 a month. Now, the original product in Infinity 100 had to do with trading the stock market, and it still does. So this is an insider's guide to learn what Peter knows. Peter, and I saw him in a video just the other day, he goes out and makes an average of about $1,000 every day, Monday through Friday, before 9:30 in the morning, and then he goes for a walk in Central Park. So if we'd like to learn that too, we can do that by actually participating in the product that we're marketing. Of course, for most of us, we don't have this kind of money yet, so we need to go out and accumulate it, and that's what Infinity 100 is for. So it's the proven duplicatable system to make money that brought you here, I know that for sure, with ongoing repeating residual income. That's the goal. So the question becomes, is it a job? No, it's an opportunity that you work like a job. You show up for work every day by walking from your kitchen or your bedroom, as I do, to wherever your home office is. No gas, no wear and tear in your car. I now have trouble putting 12,000 miles on 2 cars. I used to put 50,000 miles on 1. You keep a schedule that works for you, not one that your boss sets on the fly, not one that keeps you from your family, but your own schedule. Do you cold call? No. We generate leads here. We call on leads. We call on people who've raised their hand wanting to know more about what we do. Do you earn an hourly wage? Well, who in the world wants that? That's the definition of insanity, of trading time for money. But if you want to translate it into my language or have me translate it into yours, by just a couple of months from now, I'm going to be making $100 an hour. And I get an automatic raise every month. And I won't be dependent on any boss to pay me or for the company to stay in business so I don't lose my job overnight. But you see, I treat it like a job, and so should you, because it's the best job I've ever had. And you know why? Because it belongs to me, not to someone else. Now, think about your own goals. Maybe you're looking to make an extra $500 a month on a part-time basis. Well, in order to accomplish that, you bring in 7 customers. Now, notice I didn't say 7 customers a week. I didn't say 7 customers a month. I didn't say 7 customers a year. I said 7 customers. Maintain 7 customers, and you'll have $500 a month. Maintain 12 customers, not per month, just 12 customers, and you'll make an extra $1,000 a month. Now, here's the sweet spot. Many of you will find this attractive. Work our business part-time. Bring in 2 new customers a week for the next 6 months. You will then have the following month a $5,000 monthly income to pay all of your bills and expenses, and that money will continue to be paid to you. So what if you're looking for the big money like some of our leaders and myself, $10,000 or more per month like I'm seeking? Well, then reinvest some of your earnings back into your business. Maybe bring some selling skills to the table or learn those skills or hone those skills by learning from some of the leaders on our team. Duplicate what I'm doing, and I promise to show you how, and then help other people to succeed. It's really just that simple. Okay, so wherever you see yourself on this page, that's where you want to be, that's what you want to go for, and there's something here for everyone, and any and all of these things can be accomplished with Infinity 100. Okay, folks, thanks to those of you who are hanging in there. This is part 2 of our call, in which we're going to dig right into compensation plan and other aspects of our particular program and how we can help you succeed. Now, this slide that we are looking at is the most important one of the entire presentation. But I want to say something about it at the outset. Very few people who see this the very first time understand the entire scope of it. But what I can tell you is it involves duplication, it involves leverage, and it involves a compensation plan that pretty much is unparalleled and unequaled for many reasons that I will explain that you will learn in the future. When the light bulb finally goes on and you get this page, your feet are going to stop touching the floor. I can pretty much assure you of that. So here's how Infinity 100 works. I want you to imagine at the beginning of my explanation that the recruiter in this example is me. Okay, so let's just use me as an example. Makes sense since I'm the host of the call. And I am going to utilize my resources to find you. Now, some of you who are listening to this are my guests, or you're guests of Lynn or Bud or Gabriel or Picasso or Rick or one of the members of our team. But let's use me as an example, and I am finding you. When I recruit you, the way that you become involved in our program is that you are going to pay me, in addition to the other things that you're doing to get started, $100. That's the only financial commitment. So the $100, as you see, is color-coded in blue, and it goes to me. Now, I am going to help you with my resources, my training, my experience, my expertise, and I'm going to help you duplicate what I do every day. You are then going to go employ the system, and you are going to make your first 4 sales. So we're going to say in this example that you found Jim, Janet, Jerry, and Jill. Now, Jim, as you can see, is your very first sale. He's going to pay you the same $100 that you paid me, and you are now, as you're going to see in a minute, at break even in your business, okay? Janet, however, is going to be what we refer to in the industry as a pass-up sale, and you're going to do 2 of those in your qualification process. When Janet comes on board, remember, you found Janet, I didn't. Janet is going to pay me the $100 just like you did, so I am the beneficiary of your efforts. Jerry comes on board as your 3rd sale, and he pays you, and now you're in profit. And then your 4th sale in your qualification process is Jill. Jill is also a pass-up, and she pays me the $100. Now here's the most important thing to understand here. You are now fully qualified in our business. You can now make more money than I make if you are capable, because this is not a pyramid scheme. You are going to continue to pay me the $100, but you don't owe me any more recruits, and every sale from your 5th sale on belongs to you, but it's the power of duplication that's even better than that, so please follow along with the rest of the explanation. Now remember that when you found Janet, Janet was passed up to me. I now get to work with Janet the same way that I worked with you. So again, my resources, my expertise, all of my direction and training are going to be directed at Janet to help her succeed. Janet is then going to go make her first 4 sales, and remember, she's doing it on her behalf and mine, not yours, because you passed her to me. Janet finds Howard, Hilda, Harry, and Harriet. Howard pays Janet. Hilda pays me. Harry pays Janet, and now Janet is in profit. Harriet pays me. And at the very same time, because we also got Jill in this process, let's not forget, you found Jill. Jill is now on my team, and Jill is going to go get Mary, Michael, Maury, and Michelle with my help. Mary goes to Jill, Michael goes to me, Maury goes to Jill, and now Jill is in profit, and Michelle goes to me. Now, one of the things that you may not be understanding the impact of here is not only did I get Janet and Jill from your efforts, in addition to my own efforts to find you, I also get Hilda and Harriet and Michael and Michelle, and the process continues, and every single person is going to pass up 2 sales to me. Just as once you're qualified, that stream of income that flows from Jim and Jerry, that's going to mean 2 pass-ups to you from every single person. So before I leave this page, please now replace recruiter Gary here with you at the top, because you get to do everything that I'm doing. This option and this privilege doesn't just belong to me, and that's the whole point. Now, a couple of critical questions which have obvious answers, but I want you to see the hints right here. The first question that we're going to ask on the next page is, how many people did I actually recruit here? And I think you know the answer to that. The second question is, how many $100 payments do you see on this page that went to me? And you can count them by simply counting the blue ones, right? So let's answer those questions. How many people did I actually sell? I made 1 sale in this scenario. But by working with you and Janet and Jill, how many $100 payments did I earn? 7. And remember, then I can work with Hilda and Harriet and the rest. But if we stop right here, that's 7 $100 payments that went to me. Now, it doesn't stop there, in case you're already thinking this is pretty darn good, because it doesn't stop at $700, because that's only what happens in the first month. The question is, how many months will those $700 payments continue to be received? 3 months? Then it's worth $2,100. 6 months? Then it's worth $4,200. 12 months? Then it's worth $8,400 if a customer simply stays on the books for a year, and most of our customers stay in the books because we teach people how to duplicate. So what if it's more than a year? Then what kind of money am I making? So how many of you, just ask yourselves, how many of you make $4,000 to $8,000 on a single sale, either on your current or your last sales job? How many times would you like to do this? How many can you hire? Now remember, this was all based on me hiring 1. I can prove to you that I am currently on a pace where I am hiring 4 to 5 people every week. And our team leader, JB, this is the only time we get pie in the sky in these calls. Our team leader, JB, $36,000 a month. And actually, guess what? It's now up to pretty much close to 40. We have to change his name all the time. He used to be the $36,000 man. Now he's the $40,000 man. So again, pie in the sky, maybe it sounds that way, but he's actually doing that, ladies and gentlemen, and he will document it for you in a heartbeat in his own marketing system, which we will share with you. Now, some of you, in spite of that exciting information that I just gave you, which just blows my mind again every time I see it, some of you are going to leave this call and not get involved with us. You're going to go get another JOB. You will once again be a slave to an employer and make them rich instead of yourself. You will temporarily get that fix of catching up on unpaid bills. Maybe even have a few good weeks and maybe you'll take your family to McDonald's. Inevitably, however, that job's going to end too. How long will it be before you find the next job? How much just over broke will you be by then? How long will that job last? And here's where I hit everybody between the eyes, guys, because I want you to read this question, because this is real. This is the state of affairs in America and around the world. From this day forward, it's never going to change. Are you going to end up working until you drop dead? That's the question of the day, because those are the alternatives. So maybe you join us instead. Or maybe at the very least you join us in addition to getting that next JOB. And by the way, some of you on this call may be thinking about your next JOB or keeping the one that you have while you work with us, so that the one that you have or the one that you're seeking is going to be the last JOB you ever have. And I encourage you to think those kinds of thoughts, because every person that I bring on my team who never has to get another job, I tell you, I am going to sleep at night with a big smile on my face over what I did to help that person. Now let's talk just for a moment about $100, because people get hung up on this, okay? And they shouldn't. But the moment most people who look at my due diligence package, they hear me say $100 on the audio overview call, they're hanging up. I know they're hanging up. Well, what are they thinking? Well, maybe they're thinking, just another scam. Maybe they're thinking, just another multi-level marketing scheme. Maybe they're thinking, oh, this must be one of those pyramids, which we'll talk about in a minute. Or, he's probably just after my $100. That's all he cares about. Now, did these people even give themselves a chance? No. And you know why? Because they'd much rather be just over broke. So here I want to remind you again, we have leads, we have systems in place, and we are nothing but overpaid tour guides. We have nice conversations with people who have asked us to call them, and we simply hand out information. So first off, I again congratulate all of you who are still here. It says a lot about you. Just for the record, however, let's deal with a few of those issues. Just another scam. Parent company in business, 15 years, A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, flourishing with 0 complaints? I think not. Just another multi-level marketing scheme. Well, multi-level marketing implies multiple levels, right? And so understand that once you have your 4 sales, you are fully qualified. You don't owe me another recruit. You break away from me. You can operate your own business. You can become a leader and do these calls just like I'm doing if you want. Is that multi-level marketing? Again, I think not. Just another pyramid. Here's my favorite one. Now remember that JB is my recruiter and I referred to him. Where was he in my explanation of the compensation? The answer is long gone, because I'm qualified. I pay him his $100 every month, but I owe him nothing else. You have no financial relationship to him whatsoever. So where is the pyramid there? And you know what? This is my favorite slide in the presentation, and I want you to think about this very carefully. Please think about your last or your next job. If you worked for a company of any decent size, here's the structure of that company, and I defy you to tell me that it's any different. There's a board of directors, there's a president, there's any number of vice presidents, there's any number of regional vice presidents, there's any number of local district managers, and then local managers who work the local teams. And then guess what? There's all of us. And do you see little old you in there? And what have you been doing all your life? but slaving and sweating and working your tail off to make the people at the top rich. But at the top of what? Take a look at the shape that I've outlined here. If I'm standing in Egypt and I see this shape, I think I'm looking at a pyramid. So, maybe every single company you have ever worked for, and this is a fact, not an opinion, so I'll say it again. Every single company you've ever worked for is a pyramid scheme. And the question becomes, what's wrong with this picture? Well, there isn't anything illegal about it. But what's wrong with it is little old you down here slaving to make the people at the top rich. Isn't that what you've heard about, pyramid schemes? Well, that's what you've participated in all your life. I just hope you're lucky enough to have been at the top of a couple of them. But it's not ethical, and it's really not moral, and it's not the way the world really should work. We should get paid far more for our efforts. Most importantly, we should get paid over and over again for something that we do one time. So bottom line, if you're struggling to come up with $100 to get into this program, what does that say about that business structure we just looked at? What does that say about that board of directors and that president? What does that say about the current financial state of affairs in America? And what does that tell you about what your next move needs to be? Because not having the $100 is not a statement about you. It is not your fault. It is a statement about where you have been, not where you are going, unless you hang up and get another job. So you know the expression beg, borrow, or steal. I have never ever in my life advocated stealing. But you know what? I do advocate begging or borrowing that $100 because many people have done that and gone on to great financial success. So don't steal it, but get it. Get the $100. It's not that big a deal. Get started with Infinity 100 and do your part to fix this problem. Enroll in the program. Share my overview call with everyone you know who's in this position and say, I just want to get your opinion about this. Listen to this 12-minute call and just tell me what you think. So try helping people and see how much helping other people helps you. Now, strategies we can all employ to be successful. Well, you know what? You can just go talk to enough people to find one. And as I pointed out before when we were talking about compensation, where have you ever heard of a business where you can make one sale and break even on your financial investment? I don't know of another example. And this is the only one I could ever find. And this is one of the things that really drove me here, is that people can be successful because they can break even on their very first sale. And what if you talk to enough people to find your the 4 qualifying sales that graduate you into serious profit in this program? Well, just the first 4 put you into profit. So be an example, because this means others will do what you do. And the power of 4 is what makes the engine run. So simply help your people duplicate. I can't do everything, but I am here to help each and every one of you on this call, and I need leaders who will help me in addition to the ones that we already have. But I am going to exert blood, sweat, and tears on your behalf, okay? Strategies, additionally, that we can all employ to be successful. Leads, I won't get into it too much here, but you've been working leads all your life. You've busted your tail working for your manager and the board of directors and president of every company you've ever worked for. How about if we generate leads here together as a team and you simply work the leads, but here you're doing them for yourself. You're working for yourself. Why wouldn't you work harder than ever for yourself than any boss you've ever had? Now, for the people who want to go big, we have something that I've labeled, and some of you know about it already, the TELL revolution. TELL for telephone, or TELL for tell, whichever way you want to write it. Use Craigslist and other places where people look for jobs. And by doing that, we can try to locate every person who's ever telemarketed for a living and show them a better way. How about voice broadcasting? You could contact 10,000 people in 1 hour who are either business people or people who've purchased some kind of home business opportunity before. JB has an incredible program for all of us, a complete business in a box that he has developed with what we term a sales funnel with landing pages. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Video presentations, co-op programs, pay-per-click, you name it. He's got it there for you. Plug right in. Are we going to help you? You bet we're going to help you. I am here morning till evening most every day of the week. I will do these calls. They will be a regular event, the live calls, in addition to redoing these pre-recorded calls like the one I'm doing right now. JB's team does regular webinar events. Call us with a prospect on the line and we will help you close your sales. We know how to do it. Training calls at times to be determined where we can review strategies that work. Training, oh my gosh, we have a lead source that has the most unbelievable training for talking to people on the phone that you have ever heard. This company's training is absolutely top-notch, class act all the way. Click on the white arrow and listen. Click on all these links and listen for hours on how to be the best telephone person you've ever been, because that's really how we make our money. So here's how to get started. You email the person who invited you with the subject line, "Want to get started." And it's okay to say, "I want to get started, but I have a few questions." That's no problem. That person will be happy to answer those for you. And then, of course, we will show you the entire system for how to get started, line by line by line. We will explain each step in the process. Even for some of you who aren't the most computer literate, this is an easy process if you simply follow our instructions. Couple of final comments. The leader of our team, JB, he makes more than $36,000 a month after just a couple of years. And guess what? If he heads to a tropical island next month, if he becomes sick or injured in an accident and cannot work, he still gets his $36,000 next month, and the month after that, and the month after that, and so on. So please ask yourself, if you become sick or get injured in an accident, where's your income going to come from? How will you continue to feed your family? How will you pay the rent or the mortgage? How many of you already have the proverbial too much month left at the end of the money? There's only one solution to this constant problem that plagues almost all of us. And again, one last time, it's ongoing, repeating, residual income. It's not trading time for money, it's leveraging your time so that you get paid again and again each month for something that you did only once. So try to gain perspective instead of doubting. This is truly the first day of the rest of your life. Nothing that has happened to you before or kept you from succeeding matters at this moment. And you know what? Infinity 100 has a higher percentage of successful distributors than any other business model because the power of four system works. You break even on one sale and you get into profit on 4 sales. There is no other business model where that happens. So once again, and I'll say this before I say goodbye, get back to the person who shared this presentation with you. He or she is part of one of the most powerful teams with Infinity 100 and the group with the most team spirit. We succeed as a team. We cannot succeed without you. We are nothing without you. So join our team, be part of a team, and I believe you will truly enjoy your experience with Infinity 100. Now, in lieu of questions, as I said at the beginning, I want all of you to get your questions answered by the person who shared the presentation with you or directed you here. Okay, so we'll have those questions answered individually, or if you want to hear a question and answer, please just come to one of our live calls on a Wednesday or a Saturday. Now I think the person who shared this information with you is waiting to hear from you, or will be contacting you shortly. Do something about it, folks. Change your life once and for all. I appreciate you being here. Over and out, and thanks so much for your time.